Okay, if you're sick of being the one being passed at the end of your races or hitting the wall, expiring in the last half, the last third of your races or your workouts, I'm going to show you how I use my watch, my pacing strategy to feel good, confident, and strong throughout the entire duration of a workout. So this was a 4 mile tempo run. I'll have a 5K coming up soon, and it'll be this run. I'm going to show you the 5K. They're both uphill for the first half, and then they're downhill for the second half. And so the goal for this workout, it was 4 miles at about marathon pace or wattage. And the goal for the 5K will be, of course, 5K pace or wattage for almost the same distance, but the idea is the same. And so I want you to look at a couple things here. I'm really zooming in so you can see. So these are each miles. And you can see here the average pace right here: 650, 650, 630, 630. My average wattage was 280, 282, 281, 285. So obviously the first couple were uphill, but they were still at that same, my goal pace was about, 640, 650. And so the last two were slightly downhill. And so they were a little faster, but the wattage was the same. And that means I was basically running the same, grade adjusted pace. And that's the thing is I'm not always looking at, I'm going into these with not just a goal pace, but a goal wattage. And that 300 watts is about my 10K wattage. And if you don't know what wattage is, basically it's like a grade adjusted pace where your watch can take into account your speed, but also the uphill or downhill that you're running and give you basically a number. And that kind of corresponds to how hard you're running in relation to if you're running uphill or downhill. So a 650 is this on this course is the same as about a 630. They're the same wattage, but a 20-second per mile pace difference. And so you can use, if your watch uses wattage, to figure out, okay, this is this is a doable, reasonable expectation. And so for my 5K pace coming up, I'm going to be looking at every minute or so, I glance at my watch and I look at my current lap average. It auto laps every mile. This is what I teach my clients, is it auto laps every mile. And I'm looking at what am I doing in this current mile. And for this workout, I wanted to keep it in the 280s. And with this speed and this wattage, it's important to note I'm holding back more than I am pushing forward. The hard part for these is often not running too hard, so I feel good for the entire 4 miles. If it's a 5K, the hard part is running. It'll be about 300 watts. The hard part will be running at 300 watts for me for the first uphill mile and a half. So I have the stamina to crush it on the downhill and speed up or at least maintain. But that's the ticket. The ticket, I do so many races where I'm with people a half mile or a mile in, and they are huffing and puffing. And then for a 5K, I might finish minutes ahead of them because they were running way too fast way early on. And if I finish 2 or 3 minutes ahead of people that I'm with half a mile or a mile in, that means they slowed down a lot. And my pace remained roughly the same or I sped up. And so keep that in mind, is the first third of a workout like this or a 5K or a marathon should be extremely easy. The last third of every race is full of people barely shuffling forward who feel like they had a really good first half, when in fact they just went out way too hard because that pace that was too fast felt great for the first half mile, for the first couple miles, and then they expired. And so you do not want to do this. The best way to have a good race is to run it with a goal pace in mind or a wattage and stick to that. And you will be the one doing the passing instead of being passed. And that is true regardless of if you're a back of the packer or a front